Okay, Mick, first of all, congratulations. Since our last press conference, you've been named Danske Bank Manager of the Month for November and agreed a new contract extension until June 2024. When you first came to the club, you talked about the project. Maybe at this stage we could have a few words on how the project's going and what you want to achieve in the next couple of years.
Well, firstly, it's nice to get those awards, but you know, it's the team that deserves them. I mean, if we just put them on the pitch, they have to go out and do it. So it's nice when a team can go unbeaten and get some wins and go on a good run. So it's a credit to them, and boys have come in and done a brilliant job. So I have to say thanks to them, give all the credit to them. Look, the project, the reality is we're 2.5 years in of rebuilding a big club. As I've said previously, I don't know of any other big club. Obviously we're talking in relative terms, whether it be in England or Scotland or another country, but a big club that was down in the doldrums being rebuilt in a space of 2 years. You know, you look around the world and there's massive clubs that have had hundreds of millions invested in them, and it takes them 5, 6, 7 years to grow back to what they were, because it's not just about players, it's about putting things in place, the structures around the place that support the club. 2.5 years in, and I think where we've come to is fantastic, and we're far from finished. You know, obviously we'll be judged on winning a title at some point, and we know that. So that's our ultimate goal.
Yeah, and turning our attention back to tomorrow night, then we've had 2 tight games against Glentoran in October. What are you expecting from them tomorrow night? They've had a pretty good run of form recently. Have you been able to see any other games, or what are you expecting from them?
Yeah, I watched most of the games after the weekend, and as I've said to our players many times, you know, Glentoran, when you look at their team on paper, their starting lineup week to week, they're players in every position that would probably start for most Irish League teams. Experience, quality, and they can play. They're physically strong. They play a certain way that suits them, and they get results. They've had 4 out of 5 wins over the last 10 years of 5 Europes. You know, they're a strong team. They were a bit of a poor run at the start, but everybody knew they'd rebound, and their manager stated that. You know, they were on a poor run, nothing was falling for them, but they seem to have got it round again. So we know what we're in for tomorrow night. It's going to be a hell of a game.
And Seanan, every player has their own pre-match routine. It's usually geared towards a Saturday afternoon though. Is it a bit more difficult to get up for a Friday night game?
No, it's the same mentality going into every game. Obviously we've just been taking every game as it comes. It's always nice to play under the lights Friday night. But again, we know what we're coming up against. Strong Glentoran side. They've won 4 of the last 5, and make no mistake, we'll be ready for them.
We're averaging 3 goals per game across the last 5 matches. There's a hunger out there not only to win, but to really see games out. Is that something that you've talked about as a team?
Yeah, last year we had the best defensive record in the league in terms of goals conceded, and we knew there was a couple of games where we conceded 3 and we conceded 3, so it wasn't good, wasn't our normal or our usual way of playing. So we knew that wasn't a structural problem. It was something that was just we had to iron out. If we had poor quality players, I'd be pulling my hair out saying, well, we're not good enough and we're conceding goals, but we had to tweak a few things. One of the things was the players took it upon themselves to say, here, we need to get back to not conceding. If we don't concede, we won't lose.
And Sean, you've had a run of games now in the starting team, and a tough game on Saturday against Carrick. They're a tough team to play against. You look to really enjoy that though. You enjoying playing again?
Yeah, obviously that's my game, just to mix it up and get stuck in. But I feel like since I've come here, and obviously the disappointments of the two red cards, but again I'm getting a run of games now. But you know, the competition within the team, everybody's looking to take my jersey now next, and I think that's the way it should be. It's healthy for the team, and that's credit to Mick and Wendy for getting the players in, because at the end of the day, if you want to compete for trophies, you know, you need a strong squad. You need people competing. If there's no competition and your place is safe, then it's easy to take the foot off the gas. So.
And you mentioned players there, Mick. Immediately after the game against Carrick, you said you'd seen the footage of the red card on Robbie McDermott, and that it wasn't a red, it simply wasn't, and that there would be an appeal launched on that. Have you submitted the footage, and is there any update on that?
Yeah, we did. We submitted the footage on Monday morning, and you know, thankfully the committee got back to us today saying that they considered there was a clear and obvious error, so they've reversed the 3-game suspension. So Robbie's available immediately. Look, it's hard. Referees have a hard job, and they have to make that decision in a split second. You know, sometimes I think it's necessary for them to wait a few seconds and think about it. So I think that the referee has to make a quick decision. He made it. It was judged to be an error by the committee, and thankfully that's why the process is there. if somebody makes a mistake, and we're not being overly critical of referees, they make mistakes, but that's why the process is there, the appeals process. So thankfully we didn't have to go to a hearing. The committee just decided that the judge did a clear and obvious error, and the most important thing for us is Robbie's available.
Yeah, great news. And you've been clear that you're looking forward to the run of games over Christmas. Tomorrow night is the first of 3 big games in 11 days for the club. Will you look to rotate players where possible, or is it a case of being clever with substitutions and putting a bit of extra focus on recovery after the games?
Yeah, they're all big games. There is, in this league, they're all 3 points, and the players know that the most important one is tomorrow night against Glentoran. Rotating the squad, I mean, it's not necessary when you've got a game on a Friday, Wednesday, Monday. Different if it was, cramped into a much shorter period. So who plays well will play, who's fighting for spots will play, who remains healthy will play. It's about winning the game, and the players in our squad know that, and right now we've been on a decent run. If we continue that, people will earn that jersey and stay in it.
And in terms of team news, you've just finished training. Beyond the long-term injuries, are there any selection concerns ahead of tomorrow night?
No, none. Everyone available.
Good news, looking forward to a great game tomorrow.